Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. I've got a wonderful special guest here today, which I'm excited to have. It's a beautiful friend who I met in trainers training for NLP and hypnotherapy. When was it? It was October last year, I believe. She's a beautiful mummy. She's a beautiful woman and she's got a lot to offer as well. So I'm going to bring her on. She is going to share some of the work that we did together a couple of days ago, and I'm excited to hear from her. So let's welcome Tanya Ray. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi. You know, what's funny is I forgot we're actually doing this segment, not interviewing you, because I almost went straight into interviewing you. But anyway, tell me about what was happening before we connected a couple of days ago.
What's happening in general, like the overall call, the call to come to you? The call.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of been a journey, lifelong journey. Really brought me to this moment, I think. But there's been a lot of change and transformation over the last 5 years, specifically, where I moved from the US back to Australia, and in that had a marriage kind of dissolve, and separation of kids and family, and being on my own, and that whole, a lot of it's tied into like the ancestral trauma of my genetic past. And so it's kind of come to a point where something needs to break through. And I've been doing all this work, and I'm like, heal me, save me, get me, like, how do I navigate this, and yeah, so I felt the other day, I guess an intensity of that, like came to a head. And you were the name. There was one name that I was called to say, hey.
Yeah.
I was guided to you.
Amazing. Yeah, awesome. I'm so grateful because I remember, you get messages all day, but I saw you and I thought, oh, wow, wonder how she's going, wonder what's happening with you in your world. And immediately I wanted to connect. Yeah. Because the theme of the message was, was reaching out for help. And I felt that. And what I don't share with a lot of people is the other work that I do. But I was like, oh, how exciting. I've been wondering how to connect with you in a way where you are ready to receive. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So tell me what happened, and I guess what your experience was. We did a energetic healing tool, a modality called Inner Masculine Alchemy. Tell me your experience of it, and what you found was helpful. And
well, when we connected and we started talking about the kind of where I was and what was happening, a lot of it was centered around the masculine energy of the past and how that was playing out in the future with abandonment from the male generally, as I was adopted and kind of rejected from my birth father, birth grandfather. And then that was playing out with the relationship or the expression or the projection of my husband. And I lost a son. There was just a lot of loss around the masculine. So I think you were like, okay, this is kind of what would be helpful to you, was this inner masculine work. And when you spoke about it, it just felt right. So I think that was
that's right. Yeah,
we came to that focus of doing the inner masculine work, and I guess that was connected to like blocks with money and structure and stability. Like, I've always had a feeling of not feeling safe in the world, and I was a gypsy. I would run around and move and move and move. I've moved a lot, And
Yes.
I think that was my way of trying to avoid the real issues, you know? And
Mm,
so now it's a point of like realizing that it's the inner work and there's no running
mhm.
anywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah. And so then we had the experience and
Yeah.
did the work, which was so beautiful and profound.
Yeah, amazing. Because yeah, we were just having a like a girl chat and catching up, and I wanted to see and discern where you were as well, because I knew that I could potentially help you, but it was also just to catch up and connect. And then I asked you, would it be okay if we did something about this? So thank you for being able to receive and being receptive to it. Tell me
Mhm.
what your experience was when we went through the modality and the things that you might have seen, you heard, you felt, and the shifts that you've experienced since, because it's been, what, 3 or 4 days, I think.
I think it's been 2 days.
2 days? Really?
So, today's Friday. It wasn't Thursday. I think was it Wednesday? I don't know. It
Oh,
does seem
yes,
like
it could be.
a
Yeah,
lifetime
Wednesday.
ago since we did it. But so
It's
what
it's
did I?
because I'm on keto. And for me, it's been a long week. 'Cause yeah, anyway,
That's funny.
I'm doing well. Mm,
What did I experience during the session?
mm,
Um, so it's the process of going within, relaxing and breathing and connecting within to the inner awareness and being guided by you in focus and language
mhm,
to access like emotional states that I was kind of unconscious of that I'd been holding and being
mm,
able to pull them up and being able to let them go and heal and then being able to call in and create space for this new masculine energy
mm,
that really feels so like so it brings that sense of safety within yourself is what it
mhm,
did for me. um so that process during the whole thing um what do I want to say, we might have to cut there, but um gently guided me to transform. I said transmute energy.
mhm.
And so that's really what healing is, I think, is transmuting old energy and transforming into like a new level. And since that experience and process, I felt instant change, instant
Mm,
reflection. Like I was saying earlier, there was this inner land that's being explored and finding that sense of safety within that inner land. And then, immediately coming off that call with you and my daughter coming to me and showing me physical land on the planet. I
wow.
mean, that
Mm,
was profound. And then since then, there's been it's like I'm able to access a space, like it's like being able to dream and imagine, being able to,
mhm.
it's like when you're lighter, you kind of like get excited about new possibilities, where before I think there was kind of like a ceiling or a blanket that kept me
Huh.
feeling a bit weighted down, and I was like
Mhm,
blocked. I couldn't progress. And so that was kind of taken out. And then it was like, oh, let's start dreaming and imagining, because I was kind of stagnant and stuck.
mhm.
And yeah, and so since then, just this like real exploration and excitement of new possibilities, seeing new possibilities where before there were no possibilities.
Right, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I did notice this huge shift, and I noticed a smile.
Mm.
Yeah, a few smiles, but at the end, when you were claiming your land space in Australia,
Mm.
um, how did that feel when you were saying and decreeing? that part of that. It was right at the end, and you had already handed over your pain body and your pain to your inner masculine. How did that feel when you were saying those words? Because I noticed your whole aura changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it felt really good because I feel like that is something that I've never felt or had any real connection to. I mean, yeah, it's decreeing, like staking that space within and how that manifests without, and making that link, I think, in identifying that, because I think I've had the outer land in my life, but I was never able to hold on to it. And so that's why I was always moving. And so it's like a real kind of anchoring and a grounding in my body. You know, I remember I've always been really good at going really high and going out. In the spiritual realm, I'm a cosmic explorer, but anchoring and being grounded and feeling safe, protected, those things I didn't have, you know, and that was manifested in the masculine relationships in my life, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And foundational.
So, yeah, it was really the feminine foundation.
Yeah.
Essential foundations. And I've done a lot of healing work. After like the loss of my son, you know, which was right at the turn of the century, really pretty much right on that cusp, I was dealing with like a brain damaged child who was life and death every day. And so that really set me on the projection of healing. And I was going off around the world trying anything to heal. And that did help with healing to a certain level. But again, this was, it's just another level, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely changed my life. I did share a few things that happened last year and also this year. And also my surgery, you know, when I was told I had a tumor and it was that big, and it's my parathyroid's meant to be that small, a rice, a granule of rice. That was really scary for me. It's easy to get overwhelmed and, oh my gosh, like I've done all this work and now it's, you know. So I utilize my masculine as well in that sense to really come and stand for me, to watch over me while I was in surgery, to watch the hands of the surgeons, that they knew what they were doing, and all the experts in the hospital while I was there. It was something that I am very grateful, because it's not just in one session that you have access to that masculine power and him standing for you. It is, and the principles, those 11 principles, grounding, stable, it's in everything. Like anytime you're feeling like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, it's easier to just give up, give in.
Yeah, I think, you know, like when we're born and we come in with our light frequency, and I think that we've kind of been distorted in our connection to that. Well, for me, that light source of the masculine was, I call distorted. And so this was a process that I think, like, as we're evolving as, light beings, that our true God essence, the living light, as you called it, of the masculine healing frequency, this process is essential for all women, because I don't think we naturally have that, you know, and many women, when we look at relationships, I'm not alone in, like, you know, the narcissistic masculine relationships or the abandonment, you know, and I think these foundations of kind of discomfort in masculine relationships is the catalyst for us to embrace like these new modalities, and for women like us to hold that teaching, to hold the teachings, and to bring that, to spread that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, there's a lot of women who have had daddy issues or mummy issues, but there's a lot of wounding that happens with the biological father here in the mortal realm, and it can create a disconnect, disharmony, and a disassociation with wanting to be aligned or around masculine energy just because of that distortion, that trauma, that wound. Absolutely. And then it's represented in money, it's represented in health, it's represented in having a mission and purpose and being able to provide for, and then it's passed down to your children, and then it can collapse and dismantle families and generations if it's not something that is brought back into a sovereign, true God consciousness in a sovereign way. So yeah, you're definitely right. We're not alone in experiencing those types of relationships, and then the discord that we feel from previous childhood abandonment and playing that out in other areas of our lives. Sorry.
Well, I think it's that essential true source, that oneness within us, which breaks out into the masculine and feminine, that manifests in our life, in every expression of what we call relationships as mirrors, to see the true source behind that creation. And it's like the work in NLP when they do timeline, and there's the Gestalt, the pearl necklace, like the little balls of similar themed issues that play out. And I think that's really clear. And so healing at the source here with this process was really kind of like timeline therapy, but a little bit more God-centered, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. It's timeline therapy in that, in what way? I have to ask. Sorry. Like going to the root cause.
Well, this was going to the root cause in, like in timeline therapy, you go back to a memory or an emotional state, and you go and look at it and process it and find the learnings. So this was more like, this process with you was more like gathering the emotional baggage and allowing it to disintegrate through bringing up this new source of living light that actually felt like, to me, it felt electrical, like
Yes.
And so it's like, it's subtle energy and subtle awareness. And so, that's what I was saying with the Gestalt energy of bringing the emotional issues together that are themed based around a single issue, which was the masculine issue.
Yeah, awesome, amazing. So I look forward to, because now you are going to be implementing that for 21 days. Yeah. And I did send you a little email to just share through my own personal experience, how sometimes I didn't feel like I wanted to do it. Sometimes my body felt like running. But that is the feminine aspect that plays out, because the masculine will just get things done no matter what's going on. He's going to show up, he will go to work, he will go to work for you. And so I'm looking forward to, when you come to the end of the 21 days, what you're going to be feeling, seeing, hearing, experiencing, and knowing about yourself, and also as it relates to your money, to your relationships, to you as a parent, and to your own mission and dominion in your physical body, and then in your business.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So I can't wait to see what happens there. Would you recommend, like, what would you say to other women who probably are feeling a similar way to you, and they don't know what to do?
Yeah.
And they don't know who to turn to.
We'll turn to you.
Mm.
Yeah, it is something that's kind of buried and it is unconscious, but like we don't know. Like I didn't even know until you took me into that space and I was like working with those memories and emotions that I realized I could actually kind of make the link with it physically in my body, and I could feel that ball of like despair living within me, and I made that connection that's actually what the root cause of disease is.
Yes.
So that's why I was so grateful to go into that and bring awareness to that and dissolve that, and I could feel it melting away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think all women, I mean, this should be taught in primary school. Little girls.
Oh yeah.
We're in a time of evolution on the planet, right? The systems are breaking for a reason, and this wake up call, which is what I call change, is the wake up call to evolve and do the work of personal growth, which is why there's such a need for healers and guides, for people to step within themselves. Because most people, and I think the big shift that's happening is most of us, and for me, most of my life was basing myself on the outward expression, basing my truth and my life on the world outside of myself. And then that, with the trauma of loss of my son, that shattered the outside world because nothing had meaning. And then I was forced to go within. And so now we're all collectively going through that doorway of realizing the end, like 2012 was the end of time. And I think it's really that end of time awareness that the outside world is real and it's the inside is, nothing, or what does that even mean for most people, And so this conscious evolution that we're in, of stepping, not focused on the outside of the things and the sale of the advertising, but coming home within ourselves and, focused on healing ourselves and connecting to ourselves. And then when you connect to yourself, connecting to the collective together. And then we change and shift the systems that we create our lives around and grow and transform time, and I think I am so excited about what that's going to look like. And, like how long can we live for when we change that identity,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important as well to not get caught up in what is happening outside of self. I mean, it's easy to see on the news, and I would suggest strongly just to turn the news off and not watch it, not give energy and attach to that hysteria, because what it does is it can distort also your experience and what you're able to create for yourself on a tangible level. So I agree. Systems are being dismantled, things are collapsing, and it's an exciting time, although it may feel like, just like your when your son died and my own dark night of the soul, it feels horrible when you're going through it, but in the end it's like the best experience of your life, because of the things you learned about yourself and the unraveling, and then the depth of knowing and trusting yourself more so than you could ever do in your life, because it's in the trusting yourself and in honoring yourself and owning yourself that you come to a realization that you don't need anything other than that, because you are strong and resilient and you'll get through anything with yourself. Like, it's a beautiful awareness that happens and an awakening when you go through something like that. So sorry about your son. If I couldn't imagine what it would be like to, lose a child. Sometimes I have those thoughts, like if my daughter's out and I haven't heard from her and I call her and she doesn't answer and I message her and she'll, turn her phone off, and I don't have the location on, then I go into this, what would happen? And it's in those moments that I begin to ponder, what would I do if I lost her? So what is the legacy that he left behind, your son? Because that's a really important acknowledgement as it pertains to your work and your own healing journey, and you being able to install the masculine principles again in a powerful way.
Yeah. No, he transformed my life. It was like, there's BC and AD, or, before Christ, and that time split. For me, it was before Cayman and after Cayman, two completely different people. And so, my legacy is he changed the core of who I am and how I interact with the world. The foundation of that is that I went on to go have 4 children after him.
Right.
And so as a mother, I never thought my children would survive, bottom line. Like, when they were born, I wasn't sure if they would breathe or live every day. Wow. Their entire life. Like, there was never, I'm going to assume you're going to live. And so there was I never projected, and I never, I was the mother whose kids were a mile away on the field climbing a pole. And as long as I could see them, I was like, oh, they're fine. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? Others would, oh my gosh, your kid's over there. And I was like, oh, they're fine. And I want them to live life. I want them to go off and to explore the world and experience it, because one day, death comes to everybody, right? And so I really gave my children unconditional love and freedom in a big way. And I was also very truthful with them, because I figured if my 4-year-old can face death, I'm going to be honest and upright, up front with my children about everything, I mean, they knew the truth. And I think that's really valuable, because I think we know truth vibrationally. And when parents, try and protect, they create a distortion in what's truth, and children feel that. And I think that's what causes some problems in family dynamics sometimes, the whole Santa illusion.
I love Santa. I still say Santa's true, because it's just
well, the principles of it are true.
The principle is lovely.
I don't know. So I think at the foundation, as a mother, it changed me, and then it put me into expanded my consciousness and opened my heart into that space. I think I was much more headspace and analytical, and meditation and yoga and healing and all that stuff became just a way of life for me. So a lot of what, I've been doing this for 20 years, really. I mean, he died about 20 years, maybe 20 years ago. So
wow.
I have been
amazing
in that world for a while, which, it's all aligned for me to hold the space now as this kind of collective, I think.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing. You shared about that in Trainers Training. And I felt like, oh my gosh, this is a strong woman, to have gone through the things that you had gone through. It was quite powerful to witness your story in that sense, and even now. So a lot of admiration for you. So as we just close, what would your suggestion be to anyone who wants to work with me, either with inner masculine or to even do a course in NLP and hypnotherapy? Because ultimately I would like lots of people to do it, but I only want the right people to do it.
I think that for those people that are really seriously looking for an upgrade, to step into that next level, that, like, those people, you know, it's not for people that, I don't know, are looking for self-care tip type things, you know. It's for like really like leaders, I think, for people who are healers themselves, you know, because that's what I do. I would consider myself, you know, starseed, light leader, healer, old soul, all of those words kind of, I embody all of them. So I think that your power is, you know, the initiation process that you're given to hold is so powerful that it really is for powerful women. I mean, you know, men too, but I really think for powerful women who are already pretty established in their healing modalities, and take that next step.
Yes, those are the women I call in, and the clients or students I call in, because I think with all the work that we've done, you reach a certain level where you have a certain mindset, and you're always finding resources. Doesn't matter what's going on. If there's an issue, you're going to bulldoze over it or go through it or find a way around it, but there's no giving up and just allowing it to be there and living or communing with that. So awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to always be here, hold space for you, and let me know how you go. It'll be awesome to see what happens in the next 20-something days. And it'll be 18 days now. And yeah, thank you so much for doing this video for me. I'm really grateful, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you, Jocelyn. Many blessings.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.